This is a response video. It's going to be a response to my own video because nobody else can, I don't know, make a coherent video worth responding to, I suppose. Yeah, I listed 20 minutes of goat videos, and then he took them down. And, he probably should have taken them down because they were really, really stupid. And, but I wasted 20 minutes, and so I'm going to fucking reply to him just because, it's a subject's not going to go away. And, the fact that he took 2 videos to reply to this Veritas idiot, only one part of his videos, and it was just such a lame reply. I mean, his reply to the Veritas idiot should just be pretty fucking simple. Where do you get your fucking morality? A fucking 2,000-year-old book that fucking wasn't even written 2,000 years ago? It really comes from 4,000-year-old bullshit stories. It's only a bastardization of a bastardization of a bastardization. What fucking kind of morality is that? Might as well fucking, pull morality out of our fucking ass than fucking read about it in some fucking goddamn stupid dumbass Bible. So anyway, that's your argument there. See, it doesn't take long at all. Okay, but to defend your fucking, morality is just relative. Just depends on what you personally think. Whatever you just pull. Well, I think I'll be a Nazi today, and as long as everybody else is a Nazi, no harm, no foul. As long as we killed all the Jews already, let's, this is all play Nazi. Doesn't really matter as long as we got all the killing out of the way, done it all, finished it all. It's like saying, so is it moral for the white Europeans to come to North America and, start abusing Indians and then slaughter the Indians and then make promises and break them and slaughter them some more? It doesn't become moral because it's done and done with. We don't become, absolved of our bloody fucking hands. It's part of our reality, part of our history. When you look at the whole thing of mankind, obviously it can take us back to our primate ancestry. We're all ancestors of assholes, and that's just a fucking fact. And do you think the future's going to look back at us and say, morality's all relative. So they, wasted trillions of dollars and killed people in dumbass, idiotic wars about lies. It's no big deal. No moral crime committed. No. So, well, let's just go through this again. There's 2 kinds of, let's call it law. Let's call it, morality, ethics. I like the word ethics. It just sounds more like something you engineer than something you pull out of some book or some, magic dust or whatever. So, we have this social contract kind of ethics. That's the do unto others as you would have others do unto you. It's not making a perfect moral statement. It's not saying that in every circumstance it is wrong to kill, or in every circumstance it is wrong to treat somebody differently than you would treat yourself. All it's saying is that in general principle, this is a great way to live a civilized life with other human beings that might differ from you. Is to have this certain fundamental kind of respect. I won't exploit you when you're desperate. You don't exploit me when I'm desperate. Those kinds of things, sensible things. I won't take advantage of you. You don't take advantage of me. I won't deceive you. You don't deceive me. Makes good sense. Makes for good social contract. And so that's what you're basically, when the society says it is wrong to kill, it is not making a moral statement so much as it is a contract statement. It's obviously we cannot live together if we think we have a right to kill each other. But there certainly may be circumstances where it's perfectly productive, good for the social, good for society, good for humanity, good for all life on Earth to do some killing. I would suggest if a good doctor would have aborted the young Bush when he was a baby, a fetus, that we'd all be better off. Every breathing thing on planet Earth would be better off. I would claim that he is a horribly unproductive human being, that he has created much more suffering on Earth than he has prevented. And I'll go through it again. That's the fucking equation. The moral equation doesn't come from dogma in the goddamn Bible. And it doesn't come from any old bullshit you want to believe. It has to come from a fucking rational, logical equation. And the only thing we can know for certain, for guaranteed certain, every human being can know, it's a universal fact. It may not be absolute. Some people don't like that word absolute. But it's a universal fact, is that suffering, when unwanted, when unpleasant to the individual experiencing it, is a negative. It is something to be avoided. It is something to be deterred, eliminated, prevented, discouraged. There's no other words necessary. That is the kernel of morality. That is the kernel of ethics, is an understanding of that reality. I'm talking about the universal ethic. I'm not talking about the social contract. Now we're talking about the real, meat of the subject, which is your own goddamn usefulness to the world. I've used this reference before. People don't pay any attention to it, but whatever. There's this old movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, it just creates this perfect metaphor. I mean, it displays so obviously this very idea of being able to look back upon your life and that there is all this interaction, and that it has all this cause and effect takes place. Your existence does create a ripple in the lake. We all create one, some bigger ripples than others, but regardless, we all have an effect. And there is a universal analysis. There is an objective perspective where we are capable of analyzing to some extent. Like I said, if our perception skills were better, we could see further. But we will have an effect, and we can't know for sure whether it's going to be positive or negative or any of that stuff, because we can't see all these subtle permutations of our life. So all we can do is go by these guiding rules. And the guiding rule would be, yes, okay, we're trying to avoid creating more suffering, and we're trying to prevent suffering. We're trying to produce, in terms of preventing suffering, more than we consume in terms of creating suffering. That is the goal of a good life. That is the measure of a good life. And that we can figure out what is probably going to enhance our the outcome, the net product of our existence as individuals. We know the basic rules. The basic rules is, yes, the obvious ones. If you don't cause harm, you're obviously not going to be creating the suffering, the net suffering that you're trying to avoid. And that if you do things to obviously try to mitigate other people or eliminate other people's suffering, and including your own deprivation, if you are productive and in that way, you're more likely, more probable that you will live a good, productive life. There's obviously circumstances where, you are inadvertently, your good intentions, your investment in those probabilities don't pan out. But it's like, yes, somebody wins the lottery, the rest of the people lose the lottery. The point is that if 7,999 times you're going to do, it's going to have the right result, and one time it's going to have the wrong result, it's very probable it's a good thing to do. And that's just the way it is. I mean, we can go with the probability. Probability is you're going to lose the lottery, okay, when you buy a ticket. And there's lots of behaviors we know that what the probable effect will be, that whether it be good or bad. And that's the essence of morality. That's the essence of ethics. I would argue that 500 years from now, ethical people, intelligent people, if they still exist, will look back at us and see us as horrible barbarians. That we would inject animals with cancer and chemicals, conscious animals capable of intense suffering. And they'd say, well, how did we rationalize that behavior? Just as we can look back on slavery and say, how could anyone rationalize, the suffering imposed on those people? I mean, it's disgusting. They have that same disgust for us.